So let's go to some of the masala, as always, the interesting. Um, so as you can see, people, I had allegedly dropped myself in it. As some would say, although I would beg to differ, rather. But Isaac Butterfield's controversial joke on the Christchurch massacre. So, those of you that are aware, I had done this a while back, but since this clip was shared out, you got a bunch of people that were like, what the hell is going on here? So obviously, before any others, you had Baba Fariduddin Gangu Teli. He made a clip straight away. As you can see it here, it was being shared by, this here is, it was being shared by Asim Qureshi here. And we'll come to Asim Saab as well in a moment. So initially, this is being shared by Baba Fariduddin Gangu Teli saying, oh my god, oh, Mufti, what the hell, this Dajjal, Murtad, Kafir, and this whole clip. So I'll bring you up to speed on the clip. You guys can watch it. So there's a number of issues that I don't know which is the key issue, what bothers them more, but there's a number of issues. One is the topic that they're saying, why did I advocate for freedom of speech? Okay. Two, they're saying, this is the key issue. Why did I state that humor is sacred? बहुत तकलीफ हुई बाबा. So Gangu Teli. So why did I say humor is sacred? This was number two. What else? Why did I grin at that video clip? So there's a smirk. There's like a, at the end of that clip, when I play it and I comment, when he cracks the punchline about the taxi drivers, I kind of grin or something. So these were the problems. I just want to say before anything, look, I'm kind of flattered. Yeah. Mixed emotion, this one, right? Because why, you might ask. That, look, Gangu Teli, yeah, he was somebody that was dedicated to an entire sect. Now, I don't support that. Obviously, I don't support him, nutcase Wahhabi. But I mean, I don't support this obsession with against the Shia, right? So, obviously, we have our differences theologically. We have different understandings than the Shia. But look, at the end of the day, people are who they are. We should try and build some bridges. We need to get by as human beings. The Shia will have different perspectives. We will have different perspectives. Okay, if I'm with a Shia person, I just won't want to discuss on things that may just lead to an argument. Let's leave it and just talk about the things that we do have as common, or just talk about something else. But we shouldn't be spreading hatred, because look, by hating on people, they're not going to stop being that. If I say, oh, I don't like Shia beliefs, so I know, let's hate on them. So by hating on them, somehow the Einstein logic is they're going to stop becoming Shia, or stop being, Shia, which is dumb, because that's not how this works. So, exactly. So I feel that we should build bridges and not kind of hate on, especially since most Muslims are just born Muslims. They're just born into it. So, so anyway, but he was Gangu Teli, Baba Fariduddin Gangu Teli. He was dedicated to an entire sect. the Shia sect. This is what made him, basically. He wouldn't speak on other issues. He wouldn't speak on, obviously, I mean, what is there to... See, the issue is people want to be relevant, but they don't know what makes them relevant. They don't... Remember what I said about delving in ideas, in things... This is above them. They can't appreciate art, can't appreciate poetry, they can't appreciate... where's this? There it is. Acha. Sorry, Gangu Teli sending some jinn there. They can't appreciate music, they can't appreciate life. So I know, how else can I get clout? Let's chase, but what can we do? Let's hate on a sect. So his whole making was part of this Wahhabi group that just hated on Shia, did refutations on Shia non-stop. What's interesting is he would never criticize the Saudi regime. Obviously, Bahrain is not allowed to. No, MBS. You, Riyal. Cha. Would he ever criticize the Bahraini government? Oh, toba. Gustakh akya. No. But he would hate on the Shia anyway. He'd hate on the Shia. That gave him his fame. And so he got a huge bunch of following. The Salafis promoted him like mad. And Salafis, come on, $dollars. It's not like me just sitting here using my internet. This is actual dollars and, anti-Shia rhetoric and promoting him. So he's had, thousands of followers. And so these people, they left all of that. Left all of that to focus on who? A different sect? Sufis? Ibadis? Ash'aris? To focus on who? Politics? Trump? Middle East? Who? Yours truly. He dedicates himself to just me. I thought, wow. I won't lie, I am flattered. Because, this, you gotta give it. You Gangu Teli, you're teasing me. Gangu Teli. There he is, people. There. My beloved. Oh, Gangu Teli. High five. So I am flattered, I won't lie. This is now, to get views, these people have to talk about me. I thought, wow, kya baat hai. As in that movie, the guy says, he says, ab hum nahi, hamari khabrein aayengi. Wow. So these people now have to make video clips about me. So to remain relevant. So this recent one was this clip. Now, this got then shared, and before I discuss the issues in it, it got shared here by, why leave out the other haters? Asim Qureshi, you hater. So Asim Qureshi is like, oh my God, those who support, I find this utterly despicable. Ayo. So I thought, why leave Baba Asim out of it, right? So let me see if I can find. So before I bring this up, I just want to say what's interesting is I seem to have this unique ability that I can bring together people from so many hateful different narratives who would otherwise never unite. So you would get them that, they wouldn't unite on anything. Remember recently I spoke about that Thai auntie, this newly found obsessed hater who's actually hates Islam as well. Yet you got somebody like that who is absolutely wouldn't pairing up with Asim Qureshi Saab. Why? That's just one of the people. You had, I'm just going to bring this up, you had other bunch of, from diverse walks of life coming together. Asim Qureshi, who is an jihadi supporter, who would then be very anti people who support the Saudi regime, yet coming together. Then there was, un momento, let me just, just bring this up. Abe yaar. Has it gone? Oh, here it is. Oh, you guys probably can't see this. There was a Ruqayya Haris also getting involved. Obviously, another hater. I a failed journalist. So you got all of these people coming together who, I'm sure if you put them in a room, they'd probably just kill each other. Yet, right, what is this? Right, yet, let me just get out of this. What is going on there? Okay, let me just press exit here, hopefully. Okay, so yet you've got all of these people coming together just to hate on me. I thought, wow, only very few who can unite the ummah in that way. Very few people. Let me, un momento, if I bring this up here. No, not that one.
We embrace the
this is
we
the
embrace every single thing that is set upon us, and we deal with it because we have no fear. So when we see the example of
this is a speech being given. This is who these people are.
Chechnya, Iraq, Palestine, Kashmir, Afghanistan.
Acha. Mullah Umar. Acha.
When we see Hezbollah
Acha.
defeating the armies of Israel, we
Acha.
know what the solution is and where the victory lies.
Acha, where does it lie?
That it is incumbent upon all of us to support the jihad of our brothers and sisters in these countries when they are facing the oppression of the West.
Shabash. Acha. Support the jihad of the... Acha. Is it any surprise that this guy is not going to like me? I thought, acha. This is the thing. So these people had made this, shared this, saying, look, oh my God, Mufti, look at, he's saying we should defend freedom of speech. Somebody, Yasser, saying that Ruqayya Haris lost her mind a long time ago. Yeah, and that's absolutely true. I mean, she's just another example of somebody, what I said earlier on, struggling to find relevance. Because if you are not a person of ideas, you are just a person that is of other people. Like your world is just other people. Your world is not a world of ideas, of concept. You have nothing integral to give to the world except report on other people who have ideas. So to these people, the only way they can remain relevant is speak of... Khatim Rizvi said Mullah Umar led a group that brought America loss. Okay, he's no Mullah Umar. No, this guy's no Mullah Umar, but this guy is another example. You see, he is in many ways, Asim Qureshi, this is a a kind of syndrome. He is reflective of a whole category of people. And let me tell you this. This category of people, their life has kind of been, unfortunately, a lie. Because they spent maybe a few decades, and in a way I can feel sorry for them, but it is what it is. Like they spent maybe 2 decades of their life invested in this jihadi sympathy. And what's happened is the world just moved on. The world just moved on. Muslims today, the majority of the Muslims are young Muslims in this country. The majority of the Muslims are Muslims under 35, perhaps now even under 30. Those people are not these extremist sympathizers. They don't sympathize with Taliban or with Al-Qaeda, or how these people used to rate Anwar al-Awlaqi and all these kind of extremist terrorists. They're not that category of Muslims. These people don't have a voice anymore. They don't have relevance anymore. You spent your whole life not enjoying what Allah had actually given you, trying to set up a khilafah, which Allah never even asked for, but never happened. And you struggled and struggled, and now you've reached a stage in life in the Middle Ages where maybe your own children are even doubting Islam, and you don't have the answers for them. This is not him specifically. This is a generation of people like that. So what you have is you've got the younger people around them who now will ask questions, because look, science has moved on, atheism has moved on, generally the world has moved on. They've got newer challenges, they've got newer questions. This generation of people, this kind of Asim Qureshi syndrome people, they don't know what do you have to show for anything? The Islam you represent is outdated. Nobody resonates with it. Nobody's going to set up a khilafah for you. Nobody even is going to sympathize this jihadi sympathy anymore. You sacrifice so much of the dunya, and now you can't have that dunya, or you can try, but you're a bit old, or you're not really. And then your own, maybe young people around you don't even believe in Islam. You yourself may now have doubts on Islam, but you haven't actually studied Islam to know the answers. Na khudai mili na visale sanam, na idhar ke rahe na udhar ke rahe. As the poet says, that I didn't get, he says, I didn't get the Lord, I didn't get God, and I never got women either. He says, neither ke rahe, na udhar ke rahe. It's like, I lost out on everything. Like, neither the deen, neither the dunya. And I suppose that's what really burns them, because when they look at somebody like me, they see that the deen for me is not an impediment for my dunya. And that bothers them, because for them it was a constant impediment. So they see someone khudai bhi mili aur visale sanam. They got khudai and visale sanam. They're like, yaar, this one you're teasing me, this one. So this is why it really bothers some of these people. I get that, and it is a bichara kind of thing. I mean, I'm not saying him, but people of that generation, because a lot of them, I'll be honest with you, when they reflect deeply, or they try to now, they even see holes in Islam. Like, to them, Islam doesn't actually stand up to all. So then they have to make an extra rigid stance to make sure that Islam doesn't collapse for them. But obviously, they could take the answers from people like me, but kaha Raja Boj, kaha Gangu Teli. This is they're obviously not going to come to me, because to come to me, it would be ay nafs ay nafs al-lawama. This is the thing. You see, to me, I have the answers to the problems that the atheists present and all these things, but those answers may not fit in with the narrative that they've. But this thing of making this comment that he feels so sad that these books of Islam behind me on these shelves are so close to me. Abe mere chache tu aake par. Come on, you come and read them. Oh, I forgot. You don't know how to read Arabic, do you? You extremists. These extremists, this is the thing, and they feel, you know what it is, not just him, but people in general, they feel that Islam is their dad's deen, that they somehow have some monopoly over it. This is, Islam is as much mine as it is yours, as it is anybody else's. There is no authoritative clergy in Islam. And yes, like it or hate it, unlike many of these people, I am qualified in Islam. That really burns people, though. I clearly outrank them. They can call me whatever they want. They can call me, lost, corrupt, whatever. I never claim to be pious, but I clearly, they pull out the ID, I outrank them. So, speaking of hierarchy, Okat mein raho, okat mein. Stay in your lane, man. This one not your lane. This one for the big boys, those who have actually studied Islam. I love it. You know something, I have to say, it is the greatest blessing of my life has been that Allah enabled me to study this deen and then empowered me to navigate through it independently, and granted upon me, Allah, the ability to have this status of a mufti. That I tell you, because these people, had I been at the mercy of these kind of people, they would have crippled me. They would have chucked me out of this deen like they would thousands, hundreds and thousands of others. They would have made me hate Islam. They would have made me hate Allah and His Messenger. But lillahi alhamd, Allah threw me a rope long before these fools could make their way. Honestly, it is a great joy being so rigidly defending. And the irony is this, these haters like this Ruqayya Haris, you see, on her profile, it said she represents Islamic studies. I thought, you taking the mick, right? Look, this, look, and I don't mean her appearance. I don't mean that. I mean, are you taking the mick seriously? They wouldn't know a single thing about Islam. They wouldn't even probably be able to read Juz Amma. They wouldn't, how could they write, they represent Islamic studies? It's like, what the hell do you represent by Islamic studies? The Alif Ba Ta. And these people, the funny thing is that the only people like that lady, Ruqayya, the only people that would give them a justification for their Islam is me. And this is the irony, that they would now, and they hate that because they hate me. So it's like, well, nobody else, their version, like the Islam they want to live is basically what I teach. It's not what this Asim Qureshi, who they're commenting with, or these other people, they would preach an Islam that would have them decapitated. That would consider them apostates. But this is the struggle. Like, they would say, oh, I don't need to wear the hijab. To these people, you're a sinful so-and-so, worse than the blah, 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 blah. And the fact that you say you don't even need to, it's not even a commandment, means you're a kafir, according to those people. Because they say, it's a sin not to do it, but to say it's not an obligation is kufr. Obviously, there are answers, but the answers I give. Who else are they going to go to? This is the thing. Like, so this is what like in the English speaking world, you're not going to, even if they find other people, but those people would be very similar to me then. Like you're going to, if they go to Javed Ghamidi Saab, but then Javed Ghamidi Saab's views are going to be very similar to my views. They're not going to be very different. So, this one, tomato. Anyway, right, so moving back to our beloved and the questions that he has raised, that, you know, Shaktar ki body. Look, yeah. So I want to give an explanation. Look, listen, people, first of all, I want to just answer some of these questions, because some people have asked. I do believe in the freedom of speech. I do believe that people do have a right to express themselves. Now, in that particular context, we were speaking about humor. And I did say that I believe humor should be protected sacredly. Now, obviously, I didn't mean, you see, the dumb things that people started saying, oh, sacred. What does that mean? Oh, does it say in the Quran? Oh, where does it say in the Quran? Where does it say in the Quran? You had this lady on there, on this same post, right? Clearly the result of whose parents, you know, this is why obviously you shouldn't marry your cousins. Your first cousins. The lady said, oh, you know, he's just always on Alum Rock Road. He's just always in cafes and restaurants. I thought, unless your dad is paying for my bill, why does it bother you? And secondly, she said, oh, do you remember, I wanted to take a screenshot and put it here, but I forgot. She said, oh, do you remember, he said 3 years ago, somebody insulted his daughter, and he said he got offended, so we should insult his daughter and remind him. Ah, you're inbred. You know, I don't know how these people survive in the world. Like, how do they survive? How do they not get, like, how do they live? Like, I don't. I think if we can figure out how they live, it's really surprising why the Neanderthals went extinct. I mean, I don't. Damn, does that mean that if Neanderthals were alive today, the Wahhabi following would have been huge? Anyway, look, listen. Right, okay. Now, nobody said that insulting people, as in abusing people, verbal abuse, is fine. I've always said, in fact, I've got a video, it was shared recently, about is swearing haram. And I've said that, look, to insult someone is forbidden. If you're abusing them, that is forbidden. Now, nobody's saying that. I'm not saying you racially abuse people or sexually, as in verbally abuse people. And obviously, look, them saying that, 3 years, was it 3 years ago, there was, on one of my Monday nights, I spoke about some people speaking about wanting to, you know, they were saying, about speaking, I don't even want to really say it, but they were just saying all this kind of atrocious stuff about my daughter, who was 3 at the time. Now, and, you know, saying like horrendous things, that crimes that they wanted, that they should carry out against her. And I found that despicable, and I reported it to the police. Now, look, them saying, why didn't he find that funny? I find this question hilarious. Like, wait a minute. Why didn't I find some people making comments, not comments, about stating what they should conduct acts of sexual violence against, let's say, my 3-year-old child? Why didn't I find that funny? So why, if if I didn't find that funny, why can I find other jokes funny? Oh my God. I sure hope this lady is claiming disability benefits. I mean, is that really a question? Is that genuinely a question? Like, so, look, let me get this right. And there were several people on this same, and check this out, this jihadi sympathizer, Asim Qureshi, on his, when somebody sent me the link on his page, several people saying, oh, we should insult Mufti's mum and we should insult his daughters and see how he likes it. Is this what Islam has been reduced to? Did he tell them off? No. Did he delete their comments? No. Why would he? He's like, well, absolutely fine. And I'm not saying he needs to. But look, did he? This is the Islam that they're supporting. This is what they're supporting. Now, look, let's be clear. People can go and watch my clip. It's recorded. It's on YouTube. I've said very clearly that, look, there is a distinction between a comedian who's on a stage making jokes, and there's a difference between hate speech. We as human beings, okay, not the inbred ones, but the normal human beings, we can tell. We can pick up when somebody is on a stage making jokes and when somebody is rallying a hate speech. We can see the difference. We can tell. So, do I defend the rights of comedians to be able to speak unrestrictedly? I do defend their right to do that. I may hate their jokes. I may dislike their jokes. I may like their jokes. I may love their jokes. It doesn't matter. The point is that even if I hate the joke, even if they made a joke about Pakistanis being all inbreds, if they made a joke about all people are like this, it may be a dumb joke, it may be stupid, but they have the right to make a joke. Comedians do have that right, because comedy, to me, cannot be censored. If you start to censor it, where do you draw the line? You can't say, well, because it offends me, you can't say this, because every joke, the purpose of jokes is that the punchline is something you don't expect. It has to be politically incorrect. Otherwise, most jokes wouldn't be funny if they were not politically incorrect. So this is the unexpected nature of them that makes them funny to us. So do they have the right to say it? I feel they do have the right to say it. Now people say, oh my God, but he made a joke about people that were killed in the Christchurch thing. He did. I mean, what do you want done? Like, do you feel, is it illegal? It's not illegal. Do I feel these things are haram by Islam to make jokes for a comedian? I don't feel they're haram by Islam, but yes, people said, look, there's civility. He could have been sensitive. True, I agree. He could have been sensitive. But the point was, this joke has already happened. He's not going to ask my permission to do it. So the point is, should these jokes be allowed? Yes, I feel that people have the freedom. And they asked me, what would I say? Oh, he wouldn't defend jokes about the Holocaust. Of course I would. I feel you have the right to make a joke about the Holocaust. Now, legislation may prevent you from doing that in certain countries, and I feel that legislation is wrong. It needs to be revisited. Jokes should not be censored. That people should have freedom. They said, would I defend the joke about 9/11? I would. If somebody was to crack a joke about 9/11, many people do crack jokes about. Now it's a bit outdated. I feel that they have the freedom to do so. It doesn't mean you have to find it funny, but you have to have the right, you see, under freedom of speech to allow people for comedy. This is because this is linked with, you see, satire is linked with critical thought. It's not like insulting. Yes, it could offend. There is a difference between offense and conscientiously just insulting someone verbally. Like me just swearing at you is not the same as me satirizing something for a different reason. Now, this is not to do with that particular joke per se, it's to do with the topic. So I wanted to share that, but the joke thing, the other point they had an aspect, the other point they picked up, why did I smirk at the joke? Look, the nature of jokes is there's a punchline to them, and the punchlines are counterintuitive. So when you hear something that's counterintuitive, even if you don't like it, sometimes it may have a knee-jerk reaction. I've heard jokes which sometimes are totally disturbing and you felt afterwards like, I shouldn't have laughed, but you will laugh. Because the nature of laughter is it's unfathomable. It's not a rational calculation. You don't laugh at something, but because let me get this right. When somebody walks, like and they fall over and hit their head and you laugh, that's like, wait a minute, you're just laughing at somebody's misery. If I made a joke about deaf people or blind people or stupid people, you laugh, but you're laughing at somebody's misery. There's blind people out there, ain't there? If somebody made a joke about disabled people, and you're like, well, if somebody made a joke about racism or about a race, a particular thing. So basically, you're just saying jokes can never be allowed because most jokes are always around something like this. So you're saying, well, no jokes can ever be allowed because they're all politically incorrect. And even when people fall over, if you laugh at them, you should go to hell. Oh, God. You know, the biggest joke in this is God giving you that particular brain, because that mindset is a joke in itself from God to the rest of us. It's like saying, hey, check this out. This is exactly what it is. So look, people were saying, look, why would you laugh at a joke if it was your loved ones? Well, obviously you wouldn't. I'm not saying you should laugh at that Christchurch joke. Let me be very clear. I'm not saying, this is the problem with Muslims. They get so emotional that they refuse to hear the voice of reason. Nobody has said you should laugh at that joke. You can happily say, I find that joke disgusting. Happily say that. In fact, I want you to say it. Say it. I will say to you, that is a disgusting joke. That is insensitive. I will say that. I'm saying it. It's insensitive. But does he have the freedom to say it? I'm saying, yeah, he does have the freedom to make these jokes. Yes, I don't like it, but that is the freedoms that comedians have. They stand on a stage and they make jokes. People say, yeah, but people died in it. That's true. But you see, he's making a joke. Obviously, he's making a joke about it. Now, I'm not saying, look, this isn't about him. This is about the concept. People say, well, would you laugh at it if it was your mother that died in it? Well, that's a dumb question. Because if you had to ask that question, you're clearly, obviously, the love child of siblings. Because that doesn't make any sense. Look, if you are traumatized by an event, you're naturally not going to be laughing by that event. That's obvious. The fact that you are suffering from trauma, it's like saying, well, look, would you laugh at a joke about a blind man? You might. And they say, but what if that was your dad? You're Einstein. I swear. The genius level of these inbred Muslims is like, it's just at another level. It's like, well, what the hell are you talking about? How does that even make any sense? Obviously, if you're traumatized by a particular event, you're not going to laugh at it. Now, if you're not traumatized by it personally, there's a chance that you may, as a reactionary thing, laugh to something that's being said. And I want to say something here. Why is it then okay? Like that Ruqayya Haris said, that, kuffar, and she wrote something about kuffar and stuff like this. I thought, look, why is it okay to then laugh at any tragedy of non-Muslims? Why can you crack jokes about that? Why is it only Muslims that you can't? Are Muslims God's favorite people? Did God say that, you can't make a joke about Muslims right? You can't make a joke about, sorry, I was just reading the comments. You can't make a joke about Muslim, but you can make it about non-Muslims. Why can you make jokes about dead non-Muslims? So then you're going to say, unless you say you can never laugh at a joke about any death ever. Ever. Right? So any joke involving death ever, you can never laugh at that. And if you did laugh, let's say I told you a joke and it was funny, and it was about some random, like I said, some three Japanese people, they went down, one did this and he fell off a plane and he died, and you weren't expecting it, and you laughed. Why did you laugh? Why? You wouldn't laugh if that was your son that fell off the plane. You see, and then you say, well, oh, but it wasn't a Muslim, so it's okay. But if it was a Muslim Japanese that fell off the plane, then, why did you laugh? So, look, what is this haram policing going around? Look, Islam is to do with you. Police yourself. Okay? Nobody's telling you to laugh at anything. Clearly, you don't have enough laughter in your life anyway. These people are clearly miserable. I guarantee you, all of these people that are making a fuss, I could guarantee you they are stuck in miserable lives. Miserable lives. And this is the problem, that they just want the world to be sad. And they struggle that any kind of excuse that they will have to stamp some authority. And what better authority than to claim religion? Which is absurd, really, because when you look at some of them, they're actually Islamophobes themselves. That Thai, what's her name? Thai, Firaun Yolad. There was one Thai who was the female pharaoh. There's her, this Ruqayya Haris. What do these women have to do with the Islamic discourse? Nothing, but they'll bring Islam into it. Why? Because this guy, this jihadi sympathizer, Baba Farid, Gangu Teli, all these other people, so the way we can reconcile this is people should go and abuse his mom. Ayo Ghazali of our age. So the ability to crack jokes is equated to let's go swear at somebody's mum. Okay, if that brings peace to your heart, go on then, just if swearing at my mum, if sitting there swearing at my mum brings you peace and brings you closer to nirvana, kar lo yaar. This is what obviously in your religion you've been taught, kar lo yaar, kar lo. Who am I to stop you from getting to paradise? Jao, iqra wartaqi. That hadith, keep reciting and keep elevating your maqam. I mean, this is the dumbness that these people have, arrived at. This kind of, wow, it's pitiful, man. So this is what these people, and what I find intriguing, you see, check this out. I find this so intriguing that these people want to speak about honor of dead people. Yeah. And look, I accept, somebody said these people are shuhada. Yeah. Fine, I accept every dead soul is to be honored. But I recognize jokes are a different thing. They're said for a joke, and I do defend that. And on that note, just as, for a moment, just to state that, look, the whole message of the Quran was in its nature a statement that it knew would be offensive to polytheists. And somebody said the Quran was an academic discourse. No, it wasn't. Quran wasn't an academic discourse. It wasn't there to say, hey, I got this theory, you got this theory, let's have an academic. It was making a bold statement. It wasn't interested in an academic discourse. It was there to make a statement. Does Allah not call the kuffar deaf, dumb and blind? Mute, summun bukmun umyun? Does he not say, ulaika kal an'am, they're like animals? Does Allah not say this in the Quran, zinnim, a bastard child? He's a man, but the fact that utuwin ba'da dhalika zinnim? I'm sorry, the Quran is politically Oh, incorrect. Oh, unacceptable now. This is the problem. These people haven't even read the Quran with meaning in their lives. Ko pata hi kya hai yaar? You know, what do these people know? You know, they obviously they judge me, you know, this guy sitting there with an earring, with a chain. But hey, I've memorized the entire Quran. I've read it with meaning. I've read it with several tafasir. You haven't even probably read the Quran once in your life with meaning. So, you see, if you read the Quran, you'll see that it does. It offends with its message. But you have to give the freedom to offend. Otherwise, how can ideas be challenged? Let people challenge your ideas. Now, there's a difference between that and just outright going on and, like, you know, just going on a rage, swearing at people. Just, oh, you effing blimey, blah, 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 blah. I did this to your mom and I did this to, you know, that, hey, what's your name? Ezekiel, F you, Ezekiel. Hey, you know what I did last night? Don't you dare bring my mother into it. It's like that's everybody understands what that is. That's different. Now, I want to come to this point. These people speaking about what voicing your love, you know, oh, not speaking up for the deen, they said. That why does he's trying to appease the kuffar. All of these people, that Gangu Teli, Farid, Gangu Teli, this, what's his name, Asim Qureshi, and all these other people, tell me, where's your love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When these Najdi, Wahhabi, disrespectful people say that the Prophet married and bedded a child, where's your love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How dare you concretize and validate these beliefs? When they say that the Prophet forcefully took Safiya, in other words, raped her after having killed her husband, how dare you not condemn that teaching? And this is to everyone that supports these things. The mother of the believers, Maria al-Qibtiyya, radiyallahu anha, these filthy people, they refuse till today, out of their arrogance, to recognize her as a wife of the Prophet. They call her a concubine of the Prophet. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Allah says, they are your mothers. These people say she was a sex slave to the Prophet, out of spite for Maria radiallahu anha. She was the only wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that brought him a child that lived in this world after prophethood. That was Ibrahim alayhi salam, who the Prophet said that he sees such radiance in him that he almost sees prophethood in him if he lived. That when he passed away, it broke the heart of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why don't you defend that? You refuse to call her a wife of the Prophet. Till this day, they will refuse to call her a wife. They do not include her from the Zawja. Where is their love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Bukhari says that the Prophet went and tried to forcefully touch a woman, told her to give herself to him. Nonsense, rubbish, yet they support it. Where is their love for the Prophet? Bukhari says the Prophet forgot the Quran. He forgot a surah. The Prophet became so clumsy, he forgot the Quran. He heard a person saying it. He heard a person reciting a surah and said, "Hi yaar, that, oh yeah, that's the Quran. Oh, kuntu nasit, I forgot about it. Oh, yeah, write that, put that in the Quran as well." This is the Prophet of God. So clumsy. Do they? No, that. We hear, we obey. Our Dada told us we have to. Who's the Prophet? Don't worry, yaar. Throw him under the bus. They say the Prophet Moses ran around naked in Bukhari so people could see his testicles, to see if his testicles were swollen. This is Bukhari. Where is their love for defending the honor of this deen? Do they speak out for it? Does their dad speak out for it? No, they don't. Why? Just to appease their Wahhabi leaders sitting in Saudi Arabia funding them. Where is this, this love for the Prophet that they say, where is it, yeah? What is this love? Is it only for calling people murtad, kuffar, and we should kill the apostates? Is that the only time your love comes up? Is it only for saying we should kill Shia, we should kill Qadianis, we should kill people? Is this the only time you remember the love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? That too on a fabricated hadith on the back of Ikramah, who was a Khariji, who was from the Khawarij sect, who Imam Malik said you shouldn't be taken from this person. But just because Bukhari put it in his book. Where is the love for the Prophet? What is this honor for the deen that they speak of? Nothing but fake, of absolute false facade. कुछ नहीं सिवाय मुसलसल फरेब है, देखा है जिंदगी को निहायत करीब से. Nothing but fake. These people, yes, they hate on me. So yes, if they find anything, if they find me sneezing, it'll be enough to say, well, that's blasphemy. But tell me, did you once stand up for the honor, for the love of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Not once did you. Not once. Forgetful. This Gangu Teli, he has a thing on YouTube where him and his his group are discussing the Prophet. They say, yes, so what if the Prophet was clumsy? One of them said, yeah, so the Prophet had magic done on him by some Jewish witch, and the Prophet became impotent, sexually impotent. So they say, yeah, but so what if the Prophet was sexually impotent? If only their dad was sexually impotent and hadn't given birth to this useless, this is the love they show for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what if he was sexually impotent? So what if he's clumsy, forgetting the Quran? Oh, he's trying to forcefully touch a woman. He's bedding a little child, little girl. He's raping a woman, killing her husband, snatching her, having sex with her. Yari, what kind of an Islam are you? Rahmatan lil alamin. Ma arsalnaka illa rahmatan lil alamin. Not for the Muslims, not rahmatan lil muslimin, rahmatan lil alamin. Where is that rahmah in your picture, in your portrayal of Islam? Where is it? I don't see it. Allah says that He is Ra'ufur Rahim. He is this person who has come as a paragon of mercy to you people. Yet, then they find one. Words fail me. I don't. This kind of thing charges me, but I see that none of them will challenge their seniors and refuse to follow their sect and say these things. None of them. Rather, they will keep the peace with their, Buzurgan Deen, with their Mashaykhun Najd, with their, Wahhabis, and they will keep it with them, and what they will do instead is say, it doesn't matter, maybe the Prophet did it, it's okay. It was a different time. That's not respect for the Prophets. That's not honor for Islam. Your honor does not lie in trying to set up some phony some weird fantasy caliphate around the world, which Allah did not ask you to set up. Neither did the Prophet. The Prophet was not here trying to chase politics. See, that's all the Prophet is for them. For them, the Prophet is somebody that has given them the license to have power. We want to take over. We want sex slaves. We want to enslave their women. We want to show them. We want control. We want dominion. Nothing but insecure people. And hence their faith crumbles before them as they age. Because they built it upon a cobweb. This is what they built their iman upon. وَإِنَّ أَوْهَنَ الْبِيُوتِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ لَبَيْتَ الْعَنْكَبُوتِ. This is it. It's the worst of things to build a foundation upon. But yeah, let's wrap this up, people. It's been quite. But yeah, it's getting very late. We've gone on for quite a while. Guys, as always, it's been awesome. This was a bit extended. I'm losing my voice now.